Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Metroid. I am Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we went on a massive pickup hunt, got a lot of super missiles, got a lot of energy tanks, got a lot of normal missiles, and a lot of power bombs. So we actually cleared out a lot of Brinstar in coming back to Norfair, but now that we're back in Norfair, we can resume making progress in this area. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be coming up here and blowing open this power bomb door. And actually, the color-coded doors are a good way of kind of indicating where you need to go. When you get the specific power-ups, you need to go through them. So what's going to be in here but actually a map station? And this will give us actually a big picture of Norfair that we didn't have before, so it's a lot bigger than just what we've seen so far. Like, this place is pretty massive, and this still isn't all of it. And what's that down there at the bottom? Mysteries. Anyway, we're not gonna hang out in here too long because, you know, this place is kind of creepy. In the last episode, we picked up a reserve tank, and I didn't mention it, but next to our energy bar at the top, you might see a thing that says auto. If you do have energy in your reserve tank and you have auto put on for the reserve tank, that'll be glowing orange to let you know that you do have energy lying in reserve waiting to be used. So if we come back to this speedrunner room that we came in before, you might remember that there were these blocks that were kind of in this little speed bump that we can go through now, and this will be our path to progress. Hooray! And it also kind of gives the area kind of a little bit of a ruins slash aesthetic whatever. That's kind of interesting. These guys drop power bombs, so that's nice. Enemies that drop power bombs are few and far between, as I've said before, so pick them up when you can, especially since, like super missiles, you only get one per, and that makes it hard to refill if you have a high max and you're just kind of abusing them. So the floor completely falls to crap in this area, so you're stuck down here. What gives? A lot gives, I guess. I don't know. So, as you can see, there's a big sloping path downward, and there's a pirate down here. And as you get further through the game, you'll notice that the pirates are going to get tougher and tougher, and that's one thing I really like about Super Metroid. I say this as I'm running through them and making them explode, but as you get through the game, the pirates will get tougher and tougher, which is kind of really cool to show that they're kind of developing their tech actively as they fight you. Now, first things first, we're going to save because we're going to be going down, and we're going to be entering into a boss fight, of all things, before we start the next area. But first things first, we're going to save. Early in the episode, and we already have a boss fight, and the boss fight coming up is actually very exciting, and I really like it. I can't really... we got some energy in the reserve tank. So you come down here, and actually, when you save up there, you're kind of trapped, because you might remember these are speed booster blocks. So, you know, you can't really get out of here once you're down here. So there actually are a few paths we could take, but we are going to be going down and fighting the boss, because that will get us something that we need in order to progress through the game. And this area is just... where'd our map go? Well, if we go to the left, we'll find Spike Wall. And if we go to the right, we will find Crocomire! He has flaily arms. This is Crocomire. He is an advancing wall of doom boss. You shoot him, and it doesn't seem to do anything. If you shoot him in the mouth with a missile, however, he will back up. And this is kind of your only means of fighting him. He kind of flails at you, and it's kind of funny. This guy is kind of strange. He's like a big alien, and if you shoot him in the mouth with a super missile, actually, he will back up a very far distance. But I'm not going to do that because it makes the fight very easy. However, you do have to be careful to time these to get them in his mouth, and this is actually why it's a good idea to pick up all of the missile expansions you can in Brinstar in the areas prior, because if you come here earlier understocked on missiles, and you run out of missiles against this guy, you have to kind of rely on shooting his shots. It won't be impossible if you run out of missiles because you can restock, but it will make this fight a lot harder than it would be otherwise. However, he is kind of advancing aggressively, because the more you push him back, the more he pushes you forward. He doesn't do a lot of damage if he touches you. However, if he does push you into that spike wall at the back, it's an instant death. And I'm not going to allow that to happen, although it kind of can happen. Crocomire, I think, it gets a reputation as a fairly easy boss, but he can kind of surprise you. Like, I'm already halfway through my missiles, and I think we're near the end, but as you can see, you kind of have to keep pace with him. Also, his flesh is kind of melty and boily and warty, and that's kind of gross. Ow! And the camera is panning to the right, because something apparently exciting is over there. Oh boy, he is getting aggressive. Might be the time to use your super missiles. This is actually a good idea to kind of save your super missiles for the end part of this fight. And I do say the end because what is that over there? But a very unsteady looking platform. And come on, Crocomire. You know you gotta get back there. You come on. I know you don't want to get back on the platform, but you don't have much of a choice. And will that do it? Will that be enough? And oh, and the bridge collapses, and ha ha ha. And oh. You know, in a game like this that's already kind of moody and horrifying, that's kind of scary. That's actually kind of one of the most memorable moments in this game, but we still have a spiked wall to deal with, and oh no, everything is shaking, and oh my god, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? We can't retreat to the right, and oh no. Oh god! It's Bonemire, his second form, and he immediately collapses. So, how did that happen? How the heck did that happen? You can try and run over all that way and jump through that lava, but I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, Crocomire is dead. That is the most gruesome death in this game, and a lot of people still kind of remember that fondly, or infamously, or whatever. By Super Nintendo standards, that is kind of gruesome. I mean, it's not much to really look at nowadays, obviously, where you know, everything is just ridiculous, but Crocomire, you almost feel bad for the guy, because he kind of just tries to push you away from the fight, and push you into a spike wall. Yes, he's kind of a jerk, but gotta save. He's not actively a major threat against you, like just by himself, so that's kind of dark. So you might try to get up here, and you might actually make it. You're not supposed to get up here this way, but I did, and since, well, we'll just get these power bombs while we're here. Since you can just kind of jump up there if you have good precision. And I think that's everything in this room, but there's a great way to check. Is it just an invisible wall? No. Well, in that case, we're going to be going out this way. Because as we do come down here, we're going to be going down and proceeding further into this area that Crocomire just kind of was guarding. And if you looked at the map like I keep doing, you'll see that the area kind of goes around in a circle. And I think we want to go to the left before anything else. But no, we don't. We actually want to go down because this path is actually cut off. And they can only get through the one side. You come down here and everything breaks. Now these little glowy dudes are actually really great because they exclusively restock you on power bombs, and I'm not sure if they give you super missiles too, but, well, also we're almost out of missiles because of the Crocomire fight, and that's why I recommend hanging on to super missiles when you can, or just missiles in general, because you never know when you're just going to need a whole crap ton of them. And this is what these guys are good for, is restocking. I'll see you in a moment. Seriously though, those guys are great. Look at my health and my bombs and everything. Everything is completely full now. We come over here and get missiles. You'll find that throughout the game, and this is again another Metroid tradition, is that the challenges start to suddenly outweigh the rewards you get. Like, whereas before all you needed to do was just kind of bomb a wall, this entire diversion area was just for one missile pack. I'm relatively sure. I'm sure I'll be told if there was more in there, but that's kind of funny and kind of a bummer that after all that, you just kind of get 5 missiles. And missiles don't really seem to do much. They really taper off in their effectiveness, and you really actually still want to save them for bosses. So there's all this rubble here, and we actually want to kind of clear it out of the way, because sloping ground is a good indication that you probably have to use, or can use, the speed booster in the area. And I think this can be wiped out too. Nope, those are speed booster blocks. So we run all the way through, we run, and jump! And we get across here. And what is our reward for our efforts? Another Chozo statue that gives us a new tool. The Grappling Beam! Not the Grapple Beam, the Grappling Beam. Like the Morphing Ball as opposed to the Morph Ball. I'm not sure what's with all the verbs, the ing verbs. Wow, I take linguistics and I can't even remember what exactly they're called. But I digress. we actually wanted to come back in here because if you do, you can actually rope onto these guys and test out our new grapple beam. As you can see, it's kind of interesting. You can't grapple onto all enemies, obviously, although you can use it as a weapon. Not a very effective weapon, but it works in a pinch. And that lets us grapple from dude to dude, which is actually extremely difficult. Oh my god, am I gonna do this in my first try? No! Gosh darn it. You have to get across a lot of these guys in order to get up there. And it's kind of a massive pain, but, well, let's do it. Actually, this is a good area to kind of show off another ability of the Shine Spark, or you could bash your head into the ceiling. I don't mind cheesing this puzzle because it's extremely annoying, and I'm just going to say this right now, I hate the grapple beam. It's kind of a pain in the butt to execute and use properly. So, please forgive me if I do this way. And there we go. Say what you will about this, and if you don't like that I did that, I'm sorry, but one of the things about Super Metroid is its controls have not aged well. It simply has not, and the grapple beam is probably the worst offender of this. You could also see it kind of in the weapon system, where the original gun is just, it's so inaccurate, they kind of have to give you a wide shot just to hit anything. And whereas this kind of creates an issue where you can kind of hit everything as a result, it also just generally makes the game, you know, a lot better, honestly. The fact that you can shoot stuff, and the game does get difficult to compensate. So this will bring us back to this room where we're trying this out, and this will take us back, and now we're going in that circle that we couldn't go through before, and I don't think there are any secrets in here. I hope there aren't, because I'm not sticking around with these guys. And this will bring us up here. Gotta wave back and forth. You can also use the grapple beam to open doors, and I really appreciate that you don't have to switch off of it. Super Metroid is fairly good about not having to force you to switch off things if you don't want to. That being said, we do have a lot of stuff to cycle through now. Also, if you don't have a super missile here, well, tough shit. I mean, I can't believe I just said that. Whoops. So, now that we have the grapple beam, we can actually go to a few rooms, but I think we're actually going to do that because we have some time, and I know I haven't been uploading very much recently, so I'm going to be doing that and getting some stuff. This is actually where you were supposed to use the grapple beam to get into that room up there, and actually, after I save, I'm going to restock on those bugs. The reason I took so much damage is because the acid down here, or the lava, does a lot more damage than the acid or the lava that's in Upper Norfair, so yeah. And also, Shine Sparking, of course, the more you do it, the more health it's going to drain off of you, and that is just going to give you a terrible time. Like, even the split second I was in the lava there, I took like 20 damage, so bye, Crocomire! Poor guy. We actually want to come to the end here, because if we do, we can get through here. For some reason, I see a lot of people just kind of, including myself, just kind of run to the right here and try to Shine Spark to the side to get this energy tank. And you can do that, but this is probably a much safer bet. Even though the grapple beam does control pretty poorly, it's still useful there. Mostly, the grapple beam is functional enough where you need it, but in optional areas, it's a massive pain and I hate it. So first we're going to be going to the right, and then we're going to be going up, but, This is actually a good question of where we should go. I'm going to be heading up and to the left, and then down and right, because there is a missile up here that we can get, and then we can come back down from there in order to continue deeper into this path in Norfair. Now that we do have the grapple beam, this of course opens up a ton of other stuff we can do, and I know where we need to go next, but we're not going to be going there next. We're actually getting somewhat close to the next end of area boss, and believe it or not, it's not the boss of Norfair. No, that won't be for a while. A long while. Like, you probably don't know, but, well. Point is, there's going to be a big boss relatively soon. And that is not going to be in this episode, probably not even the next episode, but just something to keep your eyes out for. And I can't remember if there's actually anything else in this room, like any other treasures, so no, I don't think there is. Well, you know what they say, just to be safe. Nope, there's nothing, and Oh my god, that obliterates the platform. Super Metroid! You jerk! That's awful. I didn't even realize. That's pretty funny, actually. Well, I guess that's the punishment for powerbomb spamming. Oh well. So, we get down here, and now that we've taken care of Crocomire, poor Crocomire, we hardly knew ye before you melted into a giant skull monster, and I kinda wanna know what their justification for the skeleton coming back to life long enough to tear down that wall is. That is some dedication, and a lot of being fueled by hatred. But I'm overanalyzing things. Incidentally, we don't even have half of all the missiles in the game yet. There's still like a good 100 or so left. I'm joking, I actually mean like 160 is more accurate. I think the traditional number of missiles in Super Metroid usually comes out to be about, or in the Metroid series, is 255. And the reason I think it's 255 instead of something nice and rounded like 250 is kind of a callback to the limitations of the NES, because yes, there were limitations on NES games on not being able to go up to like 999 in an inventory, and you could see this in games like the original Legend of Zelda, where you would take, you could only hold like 256 rupees or something, or 260, or some really weird number that was really unpleasing to the eye, and it was some NES limitation, and I don't entirely understand the technology behind it, because I'm not a coder. I don't understand development and stuff like that. So we cross this giant pit of spikes and lava, and where does this take us? But this actually brings us back here, and this will bring us back to this path, and the powerbomb door that we can go through. However, this is actually where our progress is going to halt, where the terrain gets a lot hotter. The glowing bricks, just the melted nature, they look more igneous than kind of the cooler rocks from above. And if you come through here, you get through this little passageway, and there's this giant, creepy Ridley head. And this is a dead end. I think they kind of intend for you to come here earlier, or at this point in the game, because they give you this little path with this little head that there's an indication that there's something down this path. But if you try to go through the lava, you're going to take damage. So we can't go through the lava yet. I'm not sure if it's the lava or the acid that does more damage. I think that's lava because it's boiling, whereas the acid looks a little more orangey. And I honestly don't know what I'm talking about, but I wanted to show that off and kind of see what was in this area before coming through. So yeah, we're going to be picking up a couple more things, and then we're going to be saving before we head on out of here. Because, again, the grapple beam lets us pick up a few things, and sorry I'm going back to the map again, but this is the best way to kind of figure out and get my bearings on where I'm going. I'm going to do it one more time, I'm sorry. And okay, I know where I'm going. So we're going to be running through this little lava area again, where I think the lava's rising, but not really. Why does that area feel so much easier and shorter than it was before? I'm probably thinking of another lava rising area. I am. I most certainly am. We come back to this room, and we platform across, and we've actually already seen all this. So I'm actually going to see you back in the bubble room. Actually, not the bubble room, but in this shaft after the room I was just in this vertical shaft on the map. I know I'm showing you the map again. I'm in this room where we got a missile pack earlier, but then we reached a dead end because we needed an item that we simply did not have. And actually, I came in through here through the wrong door. I'm sorry. I will be going up to that upper door now, and that'll only take a second. Ah, my throat's burning. And now that we've punched on through to this side, we're going to platform across here again. And in this original room, all we got was a missile pack. And I actually said before that this was like, I called this a secret room that you didn't need to do, and that you needed to come back a couple times to get everything in this room. But actually, what you get in this room, I think, is fairly necessary. And if you push all the way over to here and blast this door open with 5 missiles, there is, of course, a thing we can shoot. Not a thing we can shoot, but we get a power-up for not our Buster Gun, but our arm cannon. It is the Wave Beam, and it is one of the most excellent weapons in the game, like every other weapon in the game. They're all excellent, and I love them all. This lets us shoot through walls. That is extremely exciting. I know I'm very excitable by this game. Everything excites me, but I digress. It is actually going to be a very handy tool in in traversing this world, because you might remember those doors with the blue switches on the other side that are only one way? Well, now we can shoot through them with the wave beam to get where we need to go, and that kind of justifies why there are doors that need green missiles, or super missiles, in order to pass through them one way, because then you could just shoot through them, because now that we have this, we can shoot through the walls, and that's awesome. Also, the game is kind of laggy in this area, and that's kind of weird. I wonder if that was an issue on the original Super Nintendo, or if that's an issue with the Wii U's emulator. I'm getting better at fighting these guys, not to toot my own horn, but, you know. Come on, open door. Door, open. Please open, Mr. Door. And this will bring us all the way back to the bubble room again, where there is, of course, a grapple thing that we can use. Get this health. Whee! Shoot our way through. And I think this will be another super missile upgrade? I'm not sure. I don't like this guy. And as you can see, not only are we getting a missile, we're finding another secret. More secrets. And this will make a platform all the way up here. And if we shoot through here, this is actually a fun secret area. I think this is another little bonus clump area. And I think that this is actually another callback to the original Metroid. Specifically, there were a ton of bubble rooms in that game. And all of those bubble rooms, a ton of those bubble rooms had secret areas behind them like this. I think this is the only one like this, but basically, we got a missile and a reserve tank, by the way. Basically, the original Metroid's Norfair was the most annoying thing in the world. Get out of the lava, drop another one of these bombs, and they just hide a missile upgrade in one of these inconspicuous hamburgers. I know those don't actually look like hamburgers, but that was the first thing that came to mind. Now I want burgers. And we drop another power bomb. I think we need to in order to get through here. No! Anyway, I think now that we've done that and caught up to... There we go. I'm going to go to the save point, and I think I'm going to call the episode there. We've had a lot of progress in this episode. We beat Crocomire, we got the wave beam, we got a reserve tank and some more upgrades, and all the power-ups are just kind of pouring in, and it kind of accelerates how many you get the further you get in the game, and that's just awesome. But I digress. That was enough content for one episode, and now we are making some real progress. So, if you want to see the next area in the game and potentially an end boss, then I just hope to see somebody in the next one. Bye-bye!